Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on in. We are back on the stream covering what is technically game number 3 of the night, arguably the biggest game of the night. Really excited to get this one underway. We have Fluxx Esports. They are taking on OTG. Billy is funding the new Only the Greatest roster, who were competing in the league already as Billy is funding, and of course Only the Greatest had competed in the league as well, but picked up Billy is funding as a roster and have them picked up as well for season 2. So really exciting game on our hands, folks. Fluxx Esports, one of the top teams in the league, and Billy is funding, honestly, from what I know of them as a team, they're definitely up there as well. Some people may think they're a little bit behind what would be that really top echelon, but they're the type of team that I think would surprise you as well, that can go into a game and sort of turn things on its head when you're not really expecting that to be the case. That's the vibe that this team gives to me. They could shock you. They could do something none of us expect, but of course, maybe you sitting at home, maybe you would expect them to do something. Very possible. What would I know? I'm just a measly little caster. But folks, welcome on in. I hope you're going to enjoy what we have in store for you today, because after this game, the loser of this game will be going on to play in the losers round 3, where they will face Avenge Mango Meaty Boys. So you're not going to want to miss that. Make sure to check that out, and hopefully we'll be able to get this game underway for you very shortly. The teams are nearly ready to get going as we speak. So before we do any much more footering around, I mean, because what's the point of, you know, me yapping constantly? Let's take a look at the head-to-head of how these teams compared to each other in their respective groups throughout the group stage of the league. Okay, folks, and as you can see here, again, apologies for this graphic. We used the old logo of Billy is funding, of course. That is Only the Greatest, but you can see on the side of Fluxx, 7-2 when it comes to the losses, 23-10 on the maps won and lost, with a map win percentage of 70%, and getting 21 points on the board. Now, remember, some of those losses, one of them I know was a contentious loss, and the other one was a forfeit. So they've actually lost very little throughout the entirety of this season, and that they lost in that forfeit purely just due to not being able to play the game in question in time. And we have a policy with this league where if team cannot play the game, we make sure to give both teams the losses if it is determined that both teams were at fault for not being able to get the game played. That way no team can benefit off essentially trying to manipulate the stats by trying to avoid games. You have to play your games to come away with any sort of win. You have to be trying to play them. And then of course, going over to the side of Billy is funding, you're 6-3 on the win-losses ratio. Maps won 19-11. A map win percentage of 63% and points 18. They are a very strong side as well. Again, you absolutely cannot underestimate them. And just seen as well, bits being cheered, a single bit by UZ. Thank you very much, UZ. UZeeks, I'm going to say UZ. That's easier for me. Thank you very much, UZeeks, and welcome in. I hope you're going to enjoy the games that we have ahead for you today. Fluxx versus OTG, Billy is funding. And then, of course, the next game that we will have after that. And Overlay, thank you very much for coming in as well, checking out the stream. First time chatting. Keep an eye on Lampy here. He was confident this morning. I'm sure both of these teams will be feeling confident going into this one. You need to be able to take a little bit of confidence into these games, because otherwise, what are you doing, really? You got to take an air of confidence, an air of grace to be able to go in and prove your ability. The team that is feeling a little bit more unsure of themselves are a team that are going to struggle, really. Like, especially, you know, on the side of OTG, you're going to have to be able to just play to the very top of your ability and believe that you can do it. And Tala Scumma, I'm just going to call you Tala, reading out the rest of your name on stream. My God, I mean, the live chat can see it. Anyway, everyone can see it over here. So, it's whatever. But thank you very much for coming in. Hope you enjoy. Hope you like what we have for you today. And again, folks, for those of you who are new in, or if you've been here before, please do consider following the COD Ireland page. This does help us out a lot. And also, if you can, please do consider subscribing, as we put that money towards things like funding leagues, funding tournaments, and even funding the in-person LAN that we're looking to put on in 2025. So if you want to assist with that, it is greatly appreciated. If you can't, that's no bother at all, boy. but make sure to follow us here so you're always updated for when we go live, and follow us on our socials. You've got Twitter, you've got Instagram, I believe we have Facebook, we also have YouTube. So if you want to check out them, please consider doing so. Please do. And without further ado, folks, we will take a look at the maps that are going to be played in this series today. Fluxx Esports versus Billy is Funding. Map number 1, we will be making our way to a cheeky little skyline hardpoint. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a map, as I've always said before, with this one, you have to start out strong. It is 100 miles an hour. It is hectic, high engagements, nigh on impossible to lock down a spawn. And even if you have a spawn, sometimes there's not much you can do with it. This map punishes you for not being warm, and it's a map that we've already seen before Fluxx be very, very strong at, so I'm sure they will be excited to get loaded into this one. And map number 2, we will be moving on to Protocol, but this time for a search and destroy. We've already seen a Protocol this evening in the previous series that we covered, but we saw that in a hardpoint. Protocol search and destroy plays very differently. Of course, your life matters, and there are so many places in this map where you can have your life stripped away from you quickly. The ARs can really lock down a lot of areas, and subs, it's your job just to try and get through, disrupt the holes, disrupt the flow, and be the one to kind of create those plays through the lanes that the ARs are watching. And moving onwards to map number 3, where we will be heading to a vault control. Will this be the only vault we see today? Here's a hint, it absolutely is not, but well, it could be, depending if this is a 3-0 or not. But folks, a vault control, I've talked about it before, you know, it's very similar to a vault hardpoint. It's a map that's sort of an all-rounder. All players can be good in this. There's ways you can make it work for you pretty easily, and it plays very similar on both respawns. So if you like vault, there's a very good chance that you're really going to like playing control on it. And then folks, if you like vault, you're going to be even happier with what you're seeing here, because you go back onto vault for a hard point. So one thing is for certain, we go through here, however the score may lies, we move on to the vaults and we get onto a map number 4. The team who likes vault is going to be really happy with how their day is going, because that map, it just across these modes, as I said, it plays so similarly. So you're just going to be able to get rewarded for the fact that you're on this map, for the fact that you're good at it. It's one of those maps that you don't really have a choice. You have to be good at it. And for this series, that's absolutely the case, because if we go all the way, if we make it all the way through to map number 5, we are back on vault again. The triad, the triplet of vault, but this time, of course, for that search and destroy. On map number 5, the stakes are sky high. And again, if we've been on this map, if a team has won it twice, they'll be wanting to win it thrice. And the fear will be there. The fear, the pressure is always there at a map 5, but the way that this series is lying, it honestly just lends itself to so many scenarios where fear could come into play. And ladies and gentlemen, that is your maps and modes that we will be seeing this evening. As I said, beginning with Skyline Hardpoint, moving on to Protocol Search and Destroy, and the triplet of vaults if we go all the way. Potentially only one vault in the evening. Again, if you're the side of Fluxx Esports, we've had the privilege of being able to cover them multiple times. Skyline Hardpoint, you know they're good at. Control, or Protocol Search Destroy. That's a map they can do a lot of damage on. Triple Vault. We know they can play Vault well. How well? Against this opposition, it will be determined. But one thing is for certain, these teams, they wanted rid of Hacienda, and they wanted rid of Red Card, and they made sure to do so. So ladies and gentlemen, make sure not to go anywhere. We're going to check in on these teams, see if we can get these games started as soon as possible. So make sure not to go anywhere. Fluxx Esports versus Billy is Funding is coming your way very, very soon. ladies and gents, we hope to be getting this game underway as soon as possible. Hopefully, we'll not have to wait any more than 5 minutes or so. We will see. But ladies and gentlemen, as I said, it should be an immaculate series, and you know, the way that this bracket has panned out, we can actually take a very quick look at it. Now, it is not fully updated, as this is the bracket that was made prior to the streams this evening, so of course the games this evening may have tweaked things ever so slightly. But we take a little look here. Let's have a lovely cheeky little gander at how the Division 1 playoffs have gone. So, Faceless Esports faced off against Infinity FPS. Faceless Esports managing to win that game, so they made their way to the winners final, whereas Infinity FPS dropped down to play insufficient funds, but decided, you know what, turns out we're not actually available. Sense a little bit of fear there, perhaps might have been the reason, and because of that, they have forfeited that game, which was supposed to be covered on stream anyway. So, insufficient funds move on to the losers round semi-final. So now Fluxx Esports taking on Billy is funding, the loser of which will make their way to the losers round 3 at the bottom to face Mango Meaty Boys to see who will face insufficient funds in the losers round semi. Meanwhile, the winner of this will get to face off against Faceless Esports in the winners round final. Massive opportunity there for a huge game. Faceless, of course, favorites. Can they be stopped? I mean, after what we've seen in them today, it's sort of hard to say whether or not they can be, but you know, everyone else I'm sure will be hoping that someone can come around and shake things up, you know. Can they knock Faceless off the pedestal? Fluxx are a team that could do it. Fluxx are arguably favorites, but maybe Billy is funding or deciding, you know what, we're the team that's going to be able to take it all the way. We got OTG behind our backs now, only the greatest, and got them going into season 2 as well, so they will be very, very keen on being able to make a point. So ladies and gentlemen, that is the playoff bracket, how it's gone and where it could go, and of course we will update you in due time on what's happening with Division 2. Division 2, you got to say, tut Division 2, their timings have not been quite there in regards to actually keeping up, but they're catching up. And we may have them on broadcast tomorrow, we may not. It's very much up in the air at this point. But one thing is for certain is that we will absolutely be bringing you the grand final broadcast games, which we hope to have on the Tuesday, where we will see the grand finals of Division 1 and Division 2. Should be 2 massive games. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm really thankful for the way that COD Ireland has gone this season and the overall. I know playoffs has been tough for all teams involved, you know, given the schedules. But going into season 2, we do hope to rectify that, because, you know, as well, in regards to how we were doing this, it was our first time doing a lot of this as well, and we had mistakes that we will need to learn from as well going into the next season. So we hope to, we tried to set it up in a way where we hit a middle ground with players in regards to being able to schedule things and sort of ask them to meet us in the middle a little bit. With playoffs, it definitely didn't happen quite as much in that regard, but of course, that is something that we hope to fix going forward. Season 2, we will definitely have a longer playoff schedule. We will stretch playoffs over 2 weeks, over 10 to 14 days, as opposed to 7 or 8, just to make sure that everyone has the time to get through their games. And of course, for season 2 as well, the divisions are most likely going to be a little bit smaller, depending on the sign-ups. We might have more divisions, but have the divisions be slightly smaller, so teams will not be as pushed to get through their games, and it just caters a little bit more to the general audiences. And of course, again folks, if you want to sign up for season 2 sign-ups are live. You can find a link to that on our Twitter, or you can go to our Discord as well if you want to check that out. That would be massively appreciated if you do decide that you want to go and check that out. And if you want to sign up, because we'd love to have you in, you enjoy playing Call of Duty, you want to get friends involved, then absolutely do sign up. And there's going to be multiple divisions as well, even if you don't feel like you're a top level team that could take on the likes of what we're seeing here tonight. Never fear, there could be still a place for you, because we are aiming to run 4 divisions. Very well likely could be 3, but we will hopefully have those divisions to be able to cater for all skill levels, so you have a chance to come away the victor in a division, or at the very least get to the playoffs, which there's a little bit of bragging rights in that as well, that you were able to get to playoffs in a COD Ireland division. And we're working on a lot of exciting things in the background as well, in terms of conversations with other Call of Duty organizations, conversations in regards to setting up LAN venues. So there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of potential on where we could take COD Ireland. Things are going well so far, and they need to go a lot further. Obviously, you know, things need to grow, they need to progress. We want to take things further, but for now, very happy with the way things have gone. I'm very thankful that all of you have been able to show support as well to these streams. You've been massively supportive, having follows come in. We just had Dougie come in there with the follow, as follows have continued to trickle in. Massively appreciate all of you for doing so. And we actually do just have the lobby code for this game now, so we are on the precipice of getting this game underway. So folks, I've said it once, I'll say it again, don't go anywhere, because map number 1 of Fluxx Esports versus Bilious Funding will be coming your way in just a couple of moments. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Just about ready to get into things. Apologies for a little bit of the delay, but ultimately ready to go right here, right now. Map number 1, Skyline Hardpoint. About to get underway. Best of luck to both of these teams. Huge series ahead of us. But of course, only one could come out on top here today. And who will that be? Let's find out. Game number 1 gets underway, and we are on the side of Fluxx Esports, beginning with Mr. DB. What are the plans? A nade coming in, taking out Devon to begin with, the first blood. Continuing with the push, picking up the kills, and just like that, Fluxx have guaranteed themselves that spawn. And Fluxx continuing to pick up kills as well. Lampy taking out Billy, or I believe that's actually Murphy, apologies. He should be able to know by seeing him on the screen, but of course the COD caster lies. Commonality that we should all remember by now. Most of which me, and I never really tend to. Is Lampy getting moved into P2. No one really picking up that P1 time, of course. OTG Billy is funding, getting a little bit more of it. But it's been scrappy time to say the least. Fluxx Esports now, however, have rotated for what you might argue is a money hill. It's hard to say whether or not there's a money hill on this map. But meanwhile, Ben W got a big 2 before being taken out. He, of course, 6 and 3 to begin with here, having a great start. DB heading up and getting shot right back down. Fluxx on the time now, finally starting to rack that up after a couple of seconds. Billy is funding, have to try and work a push. Billy trying to get the shots through. Murphy getting the better of him though. Now just Ben W, the last on the hill. Billy is funding, actually picking up a nice few kills. Ben W getting 1. Will he be able to pick up 2? He absolutely does. Is he going to turn for the 3rd? Not to happen. Not to be, should I say. Devon getting on the point, quickly taken off by DB now, who's back on. The time has certainly become scrappy, but this game is evenly contested so far. Billy is funding with that ever so slight lead, but of course, at this stage of the game, not really mattering for much. It's all about trying to get that momentum to gain a little bit of an advantage and take some momentum, as I said, going into the rest of the series. Murphy picked up 1 on a 2 streak, trying to pick up the 3rd. Absolutely does, is going to get taken out. But Ben and DB on the point. Ben gets taken out. DB trying to play his life. Has to switch to the pistol and makes good use before eventually getting taken out. Fluxx ultimately coming on top of the majority of these trades here. The 2 kills coming in for them, and they're sitting on the point, and they do have Billy is funding. Pen back in the spawn. They know where they're coming from. They are controlling the flow of this map so far. And just about ahead in the score because of that. Now, of course, getting ready for the next big point as Fluxx pick up a wave of kills, but answered back well by Billy is funding. Stopping Fluxx getting rotated for spawn for the next point, which will give Billy is funding time to answer back with a little bit of time of their own. EH trying to hold the back, getting taken out, and that's a big 3 kills. Murphy sliding forward after getting stuck with the nade, and Fro getting the 2. Billy with 1, and OTG are holding on. Lampy on the getting the kills, I say, along with DB, or probably not, considering again the COD caster. I believe that would have been Murphy and DB. DB with 1. DB trying to get 2. 7 and 12, not the best start, but still being helped by his teammates. But Billy is funding, getting themselves back into this one quickly with a huge hold. Devon picking up 2 before getting taken off the point. Devon continue trying to pop off, reading the spawn, but not able to make the most of it. And Fluxx Esports getting the wave of kills, getting the scrap time, and they'll be going back to P1, just under 20 points in the lead. Pretty much neck and neck, but Fluxx Esports going to be happy with how that set went on the overall. Now going back to this point, are Billy is funding going to try anything different, or Fluxx going to continue doing what they do best, because they are playing to slay here at the moment, and it is working for them. But only 1 point could make a lot of the difference. And I do have to point this out, folks. Do not think I've missed it. Ben W. 24-10 with 42 seconds in the point. This is a star-studded performance, to say the least. Absolutely frying, popping off, getting taken out there. And, you know, you got to say, Lampy isn't that far behind him either. So, in terms of the kills, you really do have to applaud the way Fluxx have played this map. However, it's not counting for much on the score. And given the disparity in the KDs comparatively to the two teams, one has to say, or has to argue, are the kills that they're playing for Fluxx necessarily the most important in getting them key time? Is it maybe a tactical error, some of the kills that they're picking up? It's hard to say, especially when they're winning so much and they're a team of such a high level. Who or what would I know? But as Billy is funding, once again, are rotated onto a key point. They're going to be able to get themselves enough time here to at least tie even, and the KDs would very much suggest that these teams shouldn't be even whatsoever. And, you know, we're talking about maybe that being an issue from the side of Fluxx Esports, but maybe that is just to the praise of Billy is funding, the way that they're able to play it together despite not being able to pick up as many kills, and they're getting key kills in these areas and working for that time and sort of playing maybe a bit smarter rotationally on the map, perchance. Again, all hypotheses here at the moment, but it's an option. DB picking up one, getting rotated in, going to be, I was about to say I was going to be able to get onto that scrap, but EH popping off. And what I was saying about the KDs is beginning to switch. You do have EH who's past that 20 mark. You know, Devin not having a good game, but Fro and Billy definitely not as bad as it was. That's for certain. So things are beginning to swing towards their favor. 15 points in the lead and counting. Fluxx Esports are rotated for the next point. And maybe Fluxx are trying to rectify a little bit of a mistake that they made here in the previous set of rotations, in that they didn't rotate for this key point, and it's arguably where Billy is funding on P4 managed to start to really pull that score back at a time where Fluxx were beginning to set a standard of being able to pull away. But Billy is funding now on the point. Again, been picking up some huge kills, sort of spreading out Fluxx Esports a little more, and all things considered, I believe Ben W going into P2 was on 24-10. Now it's 27-11. The kills have slowed down rightly. Billy is funding, doing a good job of nullifying the threats that Fluxx Esports have presented so far and being able to adjust their gameplay. It has worked out a treat for them. Now 50 points in the lead, rotated for this next point as EH picks up a huge kill. Doesn't actually go directly for the spawns. Going to let Devin maybe go up top and help with that. Devin now going to the back, and they will have spawns. Can they make the most of them? Devin knows where to push, but those hip fires are not it. They are not it. Fluxx Esports are going to be able to retain this point, and if they can continue to pick up a wave of kills here, they will be back in the lead, albeit a neck-and-neck affair going into the third set of rotations. 30 points in it, 139 to 170 now. As Billy is funding back on the point, back racking up time and holding from the front. It has to be said, Fluxx Esports have slowed down greatly, and Billy is funding are beginning to get themselves back into the swing of things a little more as they pick up a nice 3. They hold from the front. Lampy out in the middle, trying to do something, trying to get something for his team. But now it has to be said, Fluxx Esports are the ones falling behind. They are the ones floundering in a game it very much felt like they shouldn't be. And even now, some of the KDs are suffering, albeit Lampy, Ben W doing well. You got Murphy, 17 and 26. Hasn't pulled it up numbers-wise yet. DB kind of very much breaking even on that KD, but with a minute in Hill. It just has to be said, it's not clicking for Billy's funding at the moment. And Murphy's definitely kind of been a weak link in the chain in this game, but it's interesting that Devin has kind of been that for the side of Billy is funding as well. You do have sort of a split. You have a split between, you know, both of these teams have 2 players that are doing decent. Well, they both have 1 player that's not doing great and 1 player that's doing spectacular. And while there is disparity in the spectacular for sure, I would argue EH has been doing very, very strong work for the side of Billy is funding. And then, of course, you do have Ben W, who has been absolutely popping off on the overall on the side of Fluxx Esports. That has to be said. But now 219 to 163. Billy is funding within touching distance, and they're going to be trying to rotate onto this next point. Now Fluxx with a clean hold on this next point has it neck and neck for what's going to be a key P3, but whether or not they get a clean hold is the question. As you see here, moving off spawn, Billy is funding. We have to try and hit together as a unit, but Ben W picking up these really strong advanced positions that is just doing such a good job at helping sort of what would you call, just to slow down the push Bilious funding and sort of spread them out so that they're easier picked apart. And you do also have Lampy now on the 31 kills. Ben W going to be going for the 40 as well. And Fluxx needed this to be a clean hold, and they absolutely have made sure that it is so far. 25 seconds left to get, about to pass the 200-point threshold. Bilious funding, however, getting ready for a huge push here. They're going to be hit from all sides. Fluxx, how did they deal? Fro with 2, EH with 1, and Bilious funding with a vital break. They can't win off this point, but they can get themselves very, very close. Fluxx Esports, are they going to go for the break? Ben W looks like he's going to try and get in here. He goes for the break. He takes him off, and it means it's going to be 16 seconds that Bilious funding needs as opposed to 45 on the side of Fluxx. Fluxx arguably going to have to take this maybe to P4. Might not be able to win it all here, depending on how these contests go. But they are set up well, but that's a huge break coming in. But DB with a massive 2 before getting taken out, but Billy with 1. Now Billy throwing an 8 onto the point, holding off to try to make sure they get the kills first. But Fluxx are on the point. They are racking up that time and catching up. DB with another. Is this next point going to come into play? DB, he's got the reads. Does he have the shots? He absolutely does. Picking up a huge one. 230 to 234. 23 seconds left on this point. Map number 1 going right down to the wire. Lampy with 2. Fro taking out Lampy though. Fro and Billy with the kills. It will come down to the next point. It cannot be won off this one by either side now. And the rotations. Look at your map. You have Murphy sat as deep as could possibly be. 237 to 241. The rotations come in, but the spawns have not come in for Fluxx despite Murphy sitting where he is. The pinch is going to need to be huge. Devin picks up one. EH with the other, and they're going to hold. Billy is funding. Come away with a map number 1 win against Fluxx Esports. My word, that went right down to the wire. Fluxx pulling that back almost as close as it could be. But close isn't good enough. 237 to 250. A mere 13 points in the difference. That 13 points is going to be huge as Billy is funding. OTG, only the greatest, whatever you would want to call them, come away at map number 1 just about. Fluxx, they turned the burners on towards the end. It looked like they were going to be able to do it, but Bilious funding just had picked up too much of a lead. The spawns didn't quite go the way that you would want them to if you were the side of Fluxx. And Mark coming with the raid as well, ready with the party at 12. Appreciate you, Mark. Raiders, welcome in. For those of you who are just tuning in, who are new to us here, this is COD Ireland. We are Ireland's only esports Call of Duty league. Of course, it's esports. COD's not going to be any other type of sport. But folks, we're in the playoffs, Division 1 playoffs, and this is the winners round 2, where Fluxx Esports, one of the top contending teams, are playing against Bilious funding, recently acquired by only the greatest, the OTG, and Bilious funding have just taken that first map just about. It was damn close, and with the minute delay as well, I think you may have just raided at the absolute perfect time to catch the end of what was an enthralling game of Call of Duty, to say the least. A fantastic series, and folks, thank you very much for being here. I hope you'll choose to stay, but if not, and it's not your thing, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here regardless. And once again, thank you very much to Mark for the raid. Appreciate my legend. And folks, game 1, it was absolutely fantastic. I'm sure map number 2 will be just as good. Of course, we will see. We'll give you a quick run through, as you say here, folks. We did have Skyline Hardpoint, but map number 2 is going to be a Protocol Search and Destroy when we get into that one. It plays very, very different to a Skyline Hardpoint. Skyline Hardpoint is intensive. It is fast-paced. The spawns sometimes don't even matter. As you've even seen there at the end, Bilious funding, or at some points, we're able to hold that P4 from the front. So you can see the spawns didn't matter, whereas you go to this map, when you're playing respawn, spawns matter, but the size of it, even a non-respawn, it's just a map that really favors that slower AR presence, right? You gotta slow it down. It's ARs over the lanes, controlling those lanes, and how the subs can maneuver between those lanes to sort of disrupt the line, disrupt the hold, right? You're going underneath, playing underground, trying to flank the ARs in the top houses, or you're going as wide as you can, trying to catch a timing, using your ARs for suppressive fire so you can get in between the lines and sort of drive that first blow, that first nail in the coffin. Protocol is just a very different beast altogether in comparison to the Skyline Hardpoint. I actually forgot the name of the map there for a second, but yeah, I mean, absolutely fantastic game that was. And enjoy the cast night. Make it be a long night for you. Absolutely could. We're going a little longer there than we originally thought we would, but appreciate that. 2 cast finish for myself there now to chill. Enjoy chilling, man. We got this one more game after it. And honestly, this one has the looks of potentially going all the way. So we do have a fantastic game here. Really strong game of the series. We cannot wait to get underway. And the follows coming in as well. I really do appreciate you. It's Dion C, JP1340, and Labascula all coming in with the follows. Really do appreciate you, and Hashdash coming in with the follows as well earlier. So massive thank you to all of you for the follows. And again, if you do want to support folks, if you're watching, please do consider following. It helps support us, along with subscribing if you can. Helps us run leagues, tournaments, and we're trying to put together an in-person LAN in 2025 in Ireland. So if you're interested in that, please do make sure to subscribe if you can, to help out. Every little helps, you know, as good old Tesco says. But ladies and gentlemen, we will try and get into this one ASAP. So we're going to go back to this little map mode screen, and we'll leave you here while we try and get prepped for this next game. Don't go anywhere. Map 2 coming your way in just a few. Ladies and gentlemen, map number 2 getting underway as we speak. And we're going to pop on over to the side of Fluxx Esports once again, this time on board with Lampy, to see what the play is going to be. And Lampy getting pushed up, getting taken out quickly. And Murphy trying to watch up top 2v3 now. Getting crossed over. In a very tough position to do anything with this bomb now. Maybe we're going to try and take it B, but Billy is holding it, and Billy does take out Lampy. And another kill coming in. Meaning OTG take round number 1. And take it quite well. Onwards we go. Round number 2. Nade coming through from Billy. Trying to get pushed on. Lampy with a big first blood. Or would have been Ben W, I believe, picking that up from up top. Peeking left and right. Trying to see what's what. Fro getting away with his life, but weak. Billy picking up 1, making it 3 apiece. Of course, OTG need to try and get that plant. Lampy in the back, looking left and right, playing it safe. Billy with the spot. DB underground, weak, holding his lane. That bomb is actually going down B now. Hasn't even been spotted by Lampy, who's going to have to give up that position as the bomb goes down. Not the best position to hold with the sub to begin with. Maybe it's gotten some fortunate timing here. Going to get round the back. Putting some shots in. 2v2. Billy and Evan versus Ben W and Lampy. Just like that. 2v1. Billy trying to defend this bomb. Taking shots. Knows where he has to look. But the shots don't come in. Ben W going to be able to get in there, get that defuse, and take a round back. A harder fought round than the previous one. But they won't mind that. Fluxx Esports answering back with a little round of their own. Round number 3. Fluxx versus Billy is funding. For those of you who may just be joining us, map number 1 went the way of Billy is funding. 13 points in it. That's all that separated these two teams. A neck and neck affair. Lampy getting pushed up the middle of the map now. Very much staying on Lampy considering how active he's been, but he's going to hold a lane alongside Murphy and DB, and looks like everyone's just in the position of holding here at the moment. Fluxx not quite sure what to do in the offense, no one willing to break those lines, whereas you look at the map as well, Billy is funding very much just kind of holding sort of a straight line, so to speak, in those key areas. You do have Lampy moved up now, though. Is he going to get some decent timing? He does pick up Devon. It's out with his life. Is he going to go up top? He doesn't. He just goes underneath. Big 2 coming in for Billy is funding. Just like that, Lampy picking up huge kills and leaving Billy the last alive. Gonna try and maybe catch this plant. He may get great timing on this. He spots 1. Oh, but getting absolutely decimated. The shots in unison doing the job. And Fluxx take another round. And folks, here we go. With round number 3. Going to start on board this time with Fro. See what the play is from himself. Just holding the house here. Pulling back. Murphy getting the first blood against Billy. Murphy just sitting back, holding Lampy, picking up another. Murphy with another. And just like that, Fro the last alive in a round that has not gone the way of Billy's funding whatsoever. Scrambling here. Gonna have to try and pick up an ace on a map that feels borderline impossible to get an ace on. The way you move around, the way the lanes work, I just don't think it's feasible. Fro, I was about to say he was going to pick up one, but not even, as Fluxx have really stepped up her gear here. And go 3-1 up, and these rounds are looking a little more convincing, each and every one. Maybe just starting to gain a little bit of momentum here. Billy's funding will be eager to shut that out. Round number 5. Push coming in. Trophy system down. Big wave of kills coming in. Murphy picks it up, making it a 4v2, and that bomb's going to go down. They have control of a key area. Be up to Devin and Billy to try and get a break. Billy maybe picking up, looking like he was going to try and pick up one, but wasn't going to happen. Lampy turns, gets the kill, and this is really starting to turn into some strong momentum as Lampy chasing with the knife. And Fluxx Esports now looking really strong in this map. Definitely making a statement here for how they mean to go on, as the knife kill coming in, adding a little bit of insult to injury. Fluxx 2 rounds away from evening this thing all back up. Billy is funding. A long way to go to try and go 2-0 up in this series. Lampy again with the first blood. It's been non-stop first bloods. They're all on streaks. 7-1, 7-1. Make that 8-1 from Ben W. Murphy, he's alright. And DB, 3-3 on a 3 streak. They have not been stopped in these last 3 to 4 rounds. Another 4v2 situation. Make that 4v1. As this is decimation of the highest order. Fro getting moved up. Trying to push out the back. To no avail. 4v1. He's going to go for the Chal. And it doesn't happen. And Fluxx just 1 round away from evening this series up. And it has to be said, Fluxx have really stepped it up a gear here. This is such a strong performance. Honestly, I don't think there's any way back in this map now. If you're a Billy is funding fan, look away. Of course, you do have plenty of other maps. Going to have at least 2 vaults to play. So we'll see how you feel on a vault. Ben W. sitting back, calling in the Hellstorm. No hits. 4v3 though, and he has the information. Make that 4v2. Is that another Hellstorm? Absolutely is. Lampy's one. Again, no hits, but they have the info. Kills coming in. Now 3v1. Make that 2v1. Throw, but they know where he is. Bombs down B as well. He's going to have to travel a mile. Throw. Going to try and push for at least this one, but he's going to get awful timing. There's absolutely no way he's going to get to this bomb in time. It's very much going to finish 6-1 to Fluxx Esports. In what is one of the strongest performances we have seen tonight. Immaculately played by them. Ben W picking up the kill. And just like that, Fluxx Esports pick up the win here. So ladies and gentlemen, there it is. Fluxx Esports tying the series up at 1 apiece, meaning that we are going to be seeing at least 2 more controls. Or 2 more vaults. 2 more controls? What am I on? What am I on? I can't think. I don't even think. Literally can't even think today. That's me. My head's fried, folks. But hey, we move. And so far, Fluxx Esports moving one step closer to being able to pull this series back. A very strong win from Billy's Funding, where they played a great game against Fluxx. Map number 1 has been nullified by a demolition in a search and destroy on protocol. Meaning that we could be on for a triple of the vaults. As I said, could be seeing it at least twice now, potentially thrice. 'Tis on the cards, and we will see if that ends up becoming a reality. We're going to get set up for this next game, folks. Of course, as you know, with the COD caster, the way it is at the moment, being completely broken, we have to restart virtually after every game, but we make do. We're getting loaded up, getting ready to go, so don't go anywhere. Map 3 coming your way in just a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to get underway with map number 3. Going on to vault, cheeky little bit of control. Who will come out on top with this one? Respawn definitely proved itself to be a little bit closer than the non-respawn, but vault, a very different map. So who knows how this one's going to be. Best of luck to both of these teams as we get ourselves loaded in. And why was the scoreboard all wrong as well, Relic? I will answer that for you very quickly. It's because cardcasters are completely broken. Codcaster is an absolute broken mess that Activision refuses to fix. It breaks and doesn't show the right score in a lot of modes, including Search and Destroy, and it's actually so broken that the game crashes after every game, so we all have to restart our games to get into the next game to watch, including the players, including myself. Those Activision cheap out. But you didn't hear that from me. You heard it from everywhere on Twitter. If you actually go on Twitter and listen to people complain about COD, it's never been worse. But 26 v 25, one tick gone at B already. Fluxx Esports having a great start on this map, being able to get a tick at B. And of course, we all know how important those ticks are. For those of you who may not know in Control, you know, you go most likely all the way to round number 5, winning your defenses, and whether or not you get defense in the final round is determined by how many ticks you got in the points on your offensive rounds throughout the course of the game. So with B being the harder site, it is very important to get as many ticks there as you can, with A lot of times being a given. But meanwhile, Devon has absolutely started on fire here. Players not had a great series so far in the overall, trying to make up for it here and doing a great job to begin with. 5 and 2 on a 3 streak, trying to do some damage in the spawn. Fluxx now have a tick on A. Devon slaying there. Now 6 and 2, we will stay on the Devon cam to see what he makes of this situation, but eventually getting taken out. As Fluxx now make progress at B, another tick gone, and every time they just take a little bit of like an inch where they have 2 down or whatever it may be, they just find a tick and then eventually get taken off. But they're adding important ticks on both sides. 14 v 12 as well. A tick and a half gone at A. Huge 2 coming in from Lampy. Now they're going to be able to stack on to this point, but Lampy getting moved on to B. Again, the focus seems to be to stretch Billy's funding off these points. And Lampy going to continue to slay out, picking up 1, turning, not making it 2. But my word, that was close. And 4 ticks gone now. 2 at each site. Only 23 seconds left. 9 v 8. But Fluxx will be happy with that. And if they capture a site here, it's very much on the cards that they actually take an offensive round, which would massively shake up things. Lampy's moved underground. Billy's funding picked up massive kills there, making this a 6 v 7. And now Lampy on the point just to try and stop the clock. Turns around, helps Ben pick up 1, but Murphy taking out his own teammate. DB with 1 though. Going to be a double push onto A. Will they have time? DB gets on the point. 4v4. It's like an S&D now. And a huge kill from EH, but that's traded out so quickly. This A point, it's going to be captured. 2v2. Massive moment here. Lampy and Murphy versus Devon and Billy. The camp for B. Is he going to be spotted? He absolutely is. Not the best spot. 2v1 now. But Lampy isn't checking high. But he somehow manages to stay alive. And he gets up and he picks up the kill. And Fluxx Esports take round number 1. They take the offensive round. Just about. But they do so very, very well. And taking an offensive round, that is alarm bells for the side of Billy is funding now, who will need to answer back realistically with an offensive round of their own. And you have to say Lampy had an absolutely terrific start, which is why we will stay on board with him. 11 and 5 to begin with, and on a score streak, or on a 4 streak. Score streak? What am I saying? He has a score streak, but he can't use it. He can't use the RCXD. It is banned in respawn modes. With Lampy trying to push up, diving around the side. Omni movement, God, as he continues to slay on that 6 streak. A hellstorm potentially in sight. He's surely just 1 kill off as he's clearing that point, picking up kills, diving around like a maniac, a lunatic, or a man with a plan, but eventually getting taken out. 25 versus 24, no ticks gone yet. Fluxx Esports with a good defense. Billy is funding offensive charge. The necessary offensive charge hasn't gone their way so far. Murphy picking up a huge 2. EH with 1. Again, they're just trying to get these kills in difficult positions, but it's not really happening. And the kills are coming a little bit too few and far between as well. EH just trying to get a bit of timing here on the outside against Murphy. He's gonna find the timing, but still won't be able to find the kill as Murphy is absolutely on it here. 8 and 8 having a good round, picking up another. Devon managing to take him out. DB with the shots, shooting a dead body. That just shows the heads might be gone a little bit there. That's unfortunate. Just thinking that that was the player who had moved. It's happened to the best of us. It's a frustrating thing. But OTG now, Billy is funding, are on the point, getting the ticks. Of course, they need that win. But at least getting a couple of ticks is the right start, but they're going to get converged on from all areas as Ben W picks up one, Lampy picks up the other. DB is going to try and come in and help out, but EH and Billy picking up a couple. But Lampy and Murphy getting the job finished. 8 seconds left. The charge has to come into A. It's going to be a nigh on impossible push. They're trying their best, but Murphy and Lampy combining for a couple, and just like that, Fluxx Esports go 2-0 up in this map and look increasingly strong in this series. Like, I do have to say, from what I have seen of Fluxx, the fact that they lost that map 1 in that Skyline hardpoint was a massive shock to the system and made me think that Billy is funding could do something huge. Just look at that kill, by the way. That kill was absolutely amazing. Lampy 18-9, an MVP performance to say the least. But back to my point. I thought Billy is funding might be here to cause a huge upset, but Fluxx Esports have really found their stride. Massive credit to them for doing so, as they are on their way for potentially a 3-0 win in this map to go 2-1 up in the series, and the fact that we will be staying on vault as well might make the heart sink a little bit of Billy is funding. As Lampy picks up the first blood. Murphy with some shots. Picking up that kill. DB with one as well. It's clean. Fluxx making progress today. 1 tick gone already. Billy focusing on that defensive effort at B. Lampy once again on a killing spree. 20, and now make that 21. I wish I could dive like Lampy. Show me your skills. I want diving tutorial. EH picking up 1 after picking up 1 before. 13-16. Not the best KD. But now getting this A clear. 2 ticks gone already though, but you have to start somewhere. Devin with the 3 and on a 4 streak. Huge moment for Devin. 19-13, who, credit where credit is due, didn't have the best series up until this moment, but has been doing a lot for his team to try and pull this one back. Fro with 1. Ben W with another though, eventually getting taken out. Ben W relatively quiet, but understandable when you've a player like Lampy popping off the way that he is. You can only do so much else yourself. Lampy watching his back, convinced someone's behind him. I'm going to try and get moved up here. 2 kills now for Billy is funding and playing far better, it has to be said, this time around defensively. Only 2 ticks gone a day. Of course, Billy is funding aren't really going to have a choice now. They just have to win every single round that they play here. It's you know, they have to play perfect control from here on in, but doing a great job here at starting to do that. As getting the 4 down, making it 10v16. No choice now for Fluxx. They have to rush A. Maybe could rush B as well through the underground, which is exactly what Ben W is thinking. To stop this clock just to sit on B. And is this going to be a stretching technique? He tries to stretch them to B to get onto A. Looked like that was going to be the case, but Billy is funding in for another absolute clean wipe. 5v15 now. Ben W at 1, again, just trying to buy his team time, but 5v13, even if they get the point, is it all going to be in vain? Fluxx with very little to do here in this round. Very little they can do. But picking up a couple of kills, getting A, and moving on to B. And they've gotten kills, and they've got a stack, and they have a trophy down. All they need is 1 wave of kills, but the contest coming in, the contest was huge. Not Challen there. That was massive. To just play the contest, force the player to move on the other side, and drawing him out for the kill from the rest of his teammates. Stuns and nades coming in, going to absolutely get thrown about. And just like that, Lampy is taken out, and OTG take 1 round. They're going to need to take a couple of more, but taking a good defensive round there, all things considered, and doing well in the kills. Of course, they'll need to win multiple offensive rounds, I think, at this point, but if they can swing the momentum, anything is possible. And ladies and gentlemen, I do have to say as well, remember, if you're enjoying what you're seeing here, make sure to give us a follow. And also, if you want to compete in one of the COD Ireland divisions, which are placed based on skill level, then do make sure to consider signing up for Season 2. Season 2 sign-ups are live. You can find them on our Twitter, and they're also in our Discord. You have to be in our Discord to play in the league anyway. Do make sure to join our Discord, which the link to which you would find on our Twitter as well in the bio. Meanwhile, Lampy continuing to pop off here. 28 and 17, and he's been having great starts to all these rounds, it has to be said. Maybe getting a little overzealous there and pushing out while he was still weak, leading to quite a quick and needless death. But Billy is funding. We're close to almost being spawn trapped there off the bat. But EH now on this A point, getting it racked up and going to get at least a tick on the board, which again, you know, they need to get this point captured quick to give themselves time. The last thing they want to do is barely get an A point captured to leave themselves scrambling on lives and time to get over to that B, because these offensive rounds take a lot out of you and they need to buy themselves the time to get some extra time through a quick capture on A. EH is trying to pick up kills now through the spawn. Fluxx very much going for the trying to be awkward in their spawn and whittle down the lives, but not working as well as they would like it to. Ben W up top, covering this B site. Lampy on the push. EH with a huge 2. EH has picked it up this round, 24 and 21. EH going to pick up another as well. 4-4-1. The kills very much back and forth. Fluxx slightly in the lead. But this A point now going to be captured. Now working on B. They actually didn't finish that A point, which question marks to say the least. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication there. And if Fluxx get in to clear that A, that's going to be a disastrous mistake from the side of Billy is funding as Murphy chasing down that pistol kill and gets it. Murphy looking around, getting the hold. They're in good positions now, Fluxx. Zay is going to be captured, but 14 to 9. The lives aren't great, and Billy probably would have wanted a little bit more time. Just 2 wipes of lives now, and Billy's funding will be done, so they really need to consider slowing this play down a little bit. And Fluxx Esports, though, they're so well set up around this B. And playing it safe, it seems. Not getting too overzealous with pushing up. They know where they have to hold, so they're just holding it 10v5. There needs to be a clean blue feed of kills, or else this is all but done. They're going to get onto this B point now. And this is a big kill coming in. EH gets 1. Ben W up top. We're going to have to play his life. His positioning is huge, and he gets taken out, but not before the nade does a bit of damage. 7v3. Huge kills. Devin staying alive. Throw on Billy. Moving around. Throw with the nade. Ben W, though. Huge kill. Throw surely going to get taken out from this position. Billy is funding now. Recognizing their peril. Devin got 1. He's going to try and get out of his life and does 5v2. And now on impossible position. Make that 4v2. Fluxx. They're gonna close up a little bit now. Realistically, it's 6v2. You give with or 8v2 really with the lives and who's left. It's a very impossible position for Billy is funding here at the moment unless they work the perfect stack. But Fluxx know where they're coming from. They're going to get the pre-aims ready. They should be able to hold out. Lampy with the knife. Lampy with the double knife to round out an immaculate game for him. And a game that puts Fluxx 3-1 up on that win and 2-1 up in this series. And Murphy running around doing the damage. This is where he pulled out the pistol, got that finish. Nice performance from him. Lampy going huge. Not 11 and 5. Again, another broken scoreboard. You absolutely love to see it. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the scoreboard so far. What a series we have on our hands. Fluxx poised now to go all the way and face Faceless Esports in the winners final. Meanwhile, we will be staying on board with OTG potentially, as they could be the ones going down to face Mango Meaty Boys in the losers round 3 straight after this game. Been a fantastic series so far. I'd say it's going to continue to be. We're going to get booted up and try and get straight into this one, not waste much time. So don't go anywhere, folks. We will be back for map number 4 in just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready. Map number 4 about to get underway. We return to the vault. Who is going to come out on top? Is it all said and done? Are Fluxx going to the winners final, or OTG going to take us all the way for map number 5? We will soon see. But best of luck to both of these teams as we load into this one. Should be an absolute cracker. Love a hard point. We'll start on board with Devon. What's the play? It's going to be aggressive into the point. Devon picking up the first blood. Ben W though, huge 2 round the side. And he's going to make it 3. Massive start for Fluxx. But he's funding getting the first 6, but it's quickly answered back. Ben W picking up another on a 4 streak. Fluxx Esports is running around the point, picking up those kills. But Billy's funding now back on the point. Billy picking up 1. Billy picking up another. But now here comes the rotations for P2, where Murphy very much set up. But does he have the spot on Billy? He absolutely doesn't. And Billy's picked up a nice couple of kills there. Ben W picked up more. 5 and 2 already. Great start for him. DB throwing nades out the back. But Billy is funding. They look like they're going to have a good hold here of 4 down. And this has been a great defense of P2 from the side of Billy is funding, as Fluxx Esports now going to have to try and get in and break. DB and Lampy picking up 2. EH with 1. DB, Billy, checkerboard a kill feed, but 2 from Billy on the defense. Going to make it 3, but he needs to hit that reload. Devon with 1. Ben W taking him out. Murphy taking him out. 7 and 2 for Ben W, who's once again absolutely frying on a hard point. But gets taken out from Fro on the point. My God, struggling to speak there, but Billy is funding. 46 and 17 now. That they are in the lead by a great start from them. The rotations to P3 come in, and again, you take a look at your map, you look at who's set up for the next 2 points. It is Fluxx Esports. They rotated well. So you have Ben W up top, and folks, with P4 being on this side as well, it's a very important point to hold. So you can see Billy is funding, trying to get pushed through, not having the spawns, but they did go low underground. It did help, but the trades are coming in, as you can see, again up top being huge for the spawns, as Fluxx Esports getting themselves moved in, getting the waves of kills, and they're going to be trying to get themselves back in on the point. But EH picking up that kill, it has to be said, as they're trying to hold from the inside. And all said and done, Fluxx Esports didn't get much time from that. Maybe should have gotten more, but now comes the rotations. As you can see where Billy is funding are hitting from. They are rotating for that key next point, which is over here. How are they going to break in? We will go on board with Fro. Can Billy is funding get the break? EH with 1. Billy is funding, holding from the front. Something we see them do so often in the previous hardpoint on Skyline. Which, if you remember, folks, they came away with the win on that one. And still in the lead, albeit just about, which is going to quickly be changed by Fluxx now being on the point. 60 apiece, but counting for Fluxx. As they take the lead ever so slightly, but Fro on the point, EH as well. They get a nice break, and once again, we see them break through the front quite well. A reoccurring theme for them, that Fluxx Esports, for a team that has so often had the answers to every single team in the league in terms of knowing what to do, and almost to a laughable extent making it look easy. When it comes to the hard point, Fluxx sometimes seem to be a little bit perplexed with how to deal with Billy is funding in certain situations, especially, which is strange, especially given how much they've managed to outslay Billy is funding in the hard points, which again we did see in that map number 1. And we can see here as well with Ben W going 17 and 6, massively outslaying, but just not really being able to make it count for much, which, as we discussed before, is that potentially a tactical error? It's hard to say. On board now with EH. Picking up the kill. With Ben W picking up one. Lampy trying to hold. Throw on the point. Getting moved up to P2. This time it's Fluxx to have the spawns for P2. Can they make them count? Billy did pick up one though. Billy nearly taking out his own teammate. This guy is cracked today. 89 to 86. Another hard point that is going right down to the wire. But I think Billy is funding now, getting split spawns, which could shake things up as Murphy's on the point. But now they're spawning in. Devin doing a great job of holding the spawns there. Ensuring his team does spawn in. But Lampy picking up one. Ben W just holding, trying to get the peak. Devin holding from the back, and Fluxx doing the good job this time of holding from the front, which is very much what Billy's funding were doing. And it just kind of throws the playbook out a little bit just in how this one's been played on the overall. It is bizarre. Ben W with two. Taking out Devin and Billy, but Fro taking him out. Billy's funding going to be able to get the scrap, which will once again put this game neck and neck. I believe it'll only have 5 points in it as we go to P3 for the second time this series. Absolutely going right down to the wire, and appreciate the follows that are coming in the stream as well. Massively appreciate you all. Stream flying up in followers. We are not far off 600. Appreciate you all showing support, love and support for COD Ireland and these Irish teams. Lampy now on the point, trying to hold from the mid. Trophy system doing wonders for him. Fro taking him out. Devin trying to hold top because the spawns for next are crucial. Again, spawns have almost gone out the window the way this game is played. Teams have been having more success holding from the front, it seems, rather than actually having the spawns. But of course, you're always going to still want to try and play for them where you can. Devin round the side again, just playing this kind of real periphery peeking role, but ultimately didn't work out in that instance as Ben W got the kill before instantly being traded. But now you look for the next point. Fluxx Esports got a wave of kills and they're going to be able to get pushed straight through P3 quite quickly. You have Murphy that could be in a key position here as he's going to go up top, but is he aware of the people coming underneath him? He was aware of one, will he be aware of two? He is. As he picks up one, he's going to be able to hold. And while Fluxx Esports, they don't have spawns, Billy is funding, are on the point with a good hold, and now, if anything, Murphy could be slightly isolated as Billy is round the back. And Billy have spawns on the point, should be able to take the lead from this position, and do. But can they stretch this lead? Hard to say, as it's all really going to come down to the wire here. Fro and Devin picking up a huge two. Billy is funding, playing like their lives depend on it. 155 to 141. This almost feels like the longest lead there has been in terms of that scoreline. That's how tight this game has been. But as we go back to P number 1, it is going to be Billy is funding ahead by 20 points. Not even 20 points. Going on to P1, where Fluxx have successfully rotated. Again, folks, if you are just tuning in, Fluxx Esports are 2-1 up in the series. This is a map number 4 hardpoint on the vault. The win for Fluxx would see them go through to the winners final to face off against Faceless Esports. The win for Billy's funding would take us back to this map again for a pivotal map number 5. These two teams very evenly poised. It very much could go all the way as Devin unable to get away from that kill. And Fluxx picking up a huge wave of kills. And we've seen Fluxx do this towards the death of the previous hardpoint game as well, where they started going waves of kills, they gained momentum, and they were able to start doing some real damage from there. Murphy throwing a nade up top. Billy sitting underneath the vault, gonna pick up one. The rotations of P2 once again crucial, and it is DB who is rotated alongside Lampy, who's doing some damage in the middle. He picks up a kill against Billy. DB watching the cross to spawn and managing to stay alive there. But Billy picking up a kill. Lampy getting on the point to replace him. Lampy gets taken out. Ben W taken out from the point. Billy They need to rush forward here. Fluxx still have the spawns. Billy's Funding want to make sure to get another wave of kills as well. Just 1 point in the difference. It's Devon now on the point. Huge 2 from Devon. He's going to get swarmed, but not before he helps get another. Devon had a 3-piece there. And now surely Fluxx, or surely Billy's Funding will be able to get onto this point, but Fluxx having such tight spawns, it meant they could get back on the point so quick. But Billy's Funding are doing a great job of just stifling the time of Fluxx, and Fluxx should have gotten way more time in this than they did. But if anything, Billy's Funding gained a little bit more of a lead here as they're going to hit the 200 point mark. It'll be 198, or no, it'll be 200 to 181. 19 points in the difference as Fluxx are rotated onto this one, and we had the first hard point right down to the wire. This one looks like it's going to do the exact same here. These teams so evenly poised in their hardpoint matches. 10 points in the difference. Devon sitting up top, just watching over, managing to pick up 1. Ben W got 2, and Ben W is holding now on the 40 bomb. Massive performance from him on the kills, but can they make it count on the score? 200 apiece. Fluxx in the lead. Hellstorm coming in, not sure from who, but it was to no avail regardless. As Devon just trying to get in on this point and contest. Again, the spawns for next hill are huge, and it is Billy's Funding that have them. Fluxx, though, are going to get the remainder of this time, and they actually have gotten the spawns. They just got a huge wave of kills there, and Billy's Funding now going to be floundering to try and chase onto this next point. They've held well from front before, but they're going to have no choice but to do it again here, as if Fluxx get even half a clean hold on this game is all but done. As Fro not able to get broken in. EH in though. He picks up 1. He knows to check up top. He picks up 2. And he goes round the back. Not able to pick up that kill though. As Ben W round the back. Being a huge player for his side. 44 and 23. He's not able to continue that hold though. Fro Billy holding from front. 11 points in the difference. EH with a kill. Billy is Funding with the spawns, but Lampy picks up 1. Lampy's going to slide round. He gets taken out. 227 to 222. It'll go back to P1, but there'll be virtually nothing in it for Billy, as they are going to play for this scrap. They are going to hold it. They're only going to need 6 points. Fluxx Esports going to need 28. 6 versus 28 on the points. Fluxx have the point. Can Fro go huge? He gets taken out from Ben W, who's pulling out all the stops for his side. Gets taken out by Billy, who picks up a huge 2. Gets onto the point. They got the hold. Fluxx, they have to rush. They can't get there in time. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to a map number 5 as Billy is Funding take map number 4, 250 to 227. What a game. What a fantastic game. Oh, speechless, folks. Speechless. But how do you have a player on your side drop nearly 50, drop a 45 and 27 and lose the game? I will never know. But my God, folks, congratulations to both of these teams for putting on one hell of a series, because we are going all the way. We are going to a map number 5. Map number 1 was 250 to 237. We had Fluxx then dominate on the control and search and destroy. Then we had a vault hard point. Not quite as close, but still as close as you could ever want it to be. 250 to 227. There's 10 points in the difference for Fluxx in terms of what they were able to get. And now going on to a search and destroy, where they've shown they're confident on some vaults on the modes. They've shown that they can dominate on a search and destroy. But they still have a chance here. But OTG, have they garnered enough momentum to potentially cause a huge upset here and send Fluxx into the losers round? We will soon see. We're going to get set up so we can get underway with this map 5. Don't go anywhere. Be back in just a couple minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Map number 5 about to get underway. It has been an immaculate series between these two teams, but it's all coming to an end here. Vault Search Destroy, Fluxx Esports versus OTG. Billy is funding a game that in 2 maps has gone right down to the wire, now goes right down to the wire in the mode, or in the series itself. Best of luck to both of these teams as we start on board with Lampy. What's the play? Heavy push through top, down onto A. Rushing in. Billy's funding have 3 people waiting, and they absolutely run through Fluxx there. A great defensive hold. Now 2v4. Pen W trying to get the shots through, but doesn't quite work. And with them knowing bomb is down, there's so little they can do. But Murphy or Ben picking up one, DP with another. Now all of a sudden a 2v2. That changes things. 2 players sat underneath. Fluxx Esports gonna try and break in together. Stun comes in. Here they go. The break, the kills. And Fluxx win that round. And I have to say, they just completely rescued that round. That should not have gone their way. Going 2 down. And with the bomb being dropped. But credit where credit is due. They absolutely smashed that round. Once again on board with Lampy, who quickly gets taken out. All of a sudden, oh my god, that round went as quick as it could. Well, Billy is funding, answer back with a round of their own on that offense, storming through onto the point. Not even having to go for the plant, just getting finished up with the kills. Great round from them. 1 apiece. Moving on once again. Round number 3. The bomb being planted now. 3v4. Fluxx needing to defend this, but with a man down, that's a tough ask. One v 3. DB. He's taken out. And Billy is funding are going to get in for that defuse. Great round from them. And once again going to take the lead here. BH with the drop down, picking up that final kill. And it has to be said, so far, despite that great first round that Fluxx had, Billy is funding are really having a great time in that A bomb site, which will ring alarm bells for Fluxx. But here we go. Round number 4. It's fro with the bomb. They're going to get aggro to point. Actually cutting to be an interesting strategy, which is looking like it's going to work. They will probably get the plant. Devin, spotted on the cross. Going to try and get control of Art. He's sitting up top. He's been spotted. EH at 1 though. Big first blood. Devin going to pick up the next. And Billy is funding. Have Fluxx's number here on this Vault S&D. Murphy, or Ben, sorry, the last alive. 1v4. Gonna have no time to really do anything here. Gonna be able to pick up one, shred it out as quick as you like. And Billy is funding. Go 3-1 up now. And this map is starting to run away from Fluxx. EH with that kill. And ladies and gentlemen, we are just 10 followers on Twitch off 600. Thanks to a follow from WLY_2. Appreciate you. With over 50 of you here right now watching the map number 5 between these two phenomenal teams. Billy is funding, potentially causing a huge upset here. DB pushing underground. Gonna go for that quick plant. Not having full control of site, but Billy is funding. Nowhere to be seen with getting straight in. And Fluxx have changed the strategy. They're playing wider from the site now, rather than being as congested as they were. This potentially could work for them. As DB picks up a huge first blood. He's going to be able to pick up the second. No, EH picks up one, but Lampy picking up one, making that a 3v2. 25 seconds left to defend this bomb. Billy is funding are going to go for the push. Has Lampy seen them both? I'm not sure. Beginning to converge around the point now. Fluxx, they realize they need to, but Lampy's able to pick up one. Lampy's going to go in the chase, but it's his teammate who'll pick up the kill. And Fluxx take back an important round. Round number 6. Ben W, Murphy, DB, Lampy, all trying to pull this one back. Devon, Frofro, EH, Billy, looking to extend the lead to 4-2. They got the first blood, but it was answered back. Now a bomb down, it'll be a 3v3. Can Fluxx Esports take this defensive round? Or will OTG run the clock down? Picked up the Fluxx for the break. Fro. He's got that nade in hand. He throws it out. It's going to delay that push for just another second. Fro, though, he's weak. Lampy's nade is huge for the break-in. And Fluxx absolutely rip their way through onto that point. And now, 3 apiece between Fluxx and Billy is funding. Going right down to the wire, Fluxx answered back with some huge rounds. Murphy just watching over B. It's Ben W with the huge 2 for the first bloods on a 5 streak now, 8-3. They are actually going to cut to A. They're going to try and get this bomb down. And Fluxx having a great round here. Four v2. Billy is funding. Need to try and break through. They've been spotted. They haven't gotten the kills either. Not even a pick. Meanwhile, they've been made weak. But Lampy taking out his own teammate with the need. Billy actually picking up one. I did not see those come through. 2v2 now. They have the chance to break through. The 1v1 on the side. But Murphy picks it up. Fluxx taking a huge round. Now take the lead 4-3 in the search and destroy. And they've chained a few rounds together now. Have they got the momentum to see them through? Round 8. push coming through from DB. Gonna try and get low. He's gonna pick up one, and he's gonna get out with his life, but not before Billy's funding pick up two. They're gonna continue to commit to this bomb plant, but DB picking up one. 2v2. Bomb plant happening once again. Is he gonna catch out the planter? He's not. Or will he? Is he gonna peek? Peek's coming in. He's baited out DB, but DB picks up the kill. 2v1. Now a 1v1. Devon, he went huge. Devon going for the push. He knew the instant defuse was coming in. Read like a book. Devon picking up his favorite novel. A massive 2 kills from Devon. Evening this game up once again. 4 apiece. Map number 5 going to the death as we enter round number 9. And a massive round for both of these teams who will want to get themselves just one round away from getting into the winners finals. DB quickly making his way with a side in, but the stun, if anything, going to hit his own teammate. EH gets 1, EH gets 2, Fluxx being forced to back out. That push was an absolute disaster from Fluxx, who just weren't on the same wavelength at all, it seems, as Murphy being left in the impossible position of needing to be able to pick up an ace to rescue this round. He's already been spotted. Shots coming in. He's been held hostage. No, not Murph. No, Murph. No, no, God. On a huge round. No. Oh, God, I'm so sorry. Oh, Murphy. You hate to see it. You absolutely hate to see it. As Devon of all people showing Murphy how it's done while his whole team watches. That's just sick. You're thick. Sick and twisted. As Billy is funding just one round away from sending Fluxx Esports to the losers bracket. Fluxx gonna need 2 rounds in a row. Has Murphy regained after that last round? Did he get the spot on Billy? What he did now, as Billy is funding, going for that B. They get the plant, or they get the trophy down. Murphy with a huge 2, and he's back with a vengeance as the flanks are going to come in. And ladies and gentlemen, map number 5 of winners round 2, Fluxx Esports versus OTG's Billy is funding. And we are going to a round number 11. Whew. This one is on a knife's edge. Who will come out on top? Best of luck to both of them. They both deserve to go through, but only one can. Here we go as we start on board with the bomb carrier. DB. It's going to be a triple push into A. Can they do it better this time? They've got the trophy down. The stun's out. They're going to get the plant. There's an RCXD coming in that's taken out. 4v4. 33 seconds to get broken in. Billy is funding. It is your move. Murphy is playing wide. Fro trying to catch him out. Meanwhile, it's getting intensive in the vault, but Fro with the first blood on the wide player. Surely now comes the collapse. The nade's coming in, the slide's coming in. Fro with 1, Murphy 1, just like that. It's 2v none, and EH is going to get the defuse with 13 seconds left. And ladies and gentlemen, Fluxx end the game, because they know it was all but over, as Billy is funding are going to take that series in round 11. My word, what a game, what a series. It really could have gone either way, but ultimately it goes the way of OTG. Massive, massive congratulations to OTG, who will move on in the winners final to face Fluxx Esports. Meanwhile, Fluxx Esports, we're going to be sticking with them right now, as we will be moving down to the losers bracket to see them face off against Mango Meaty Boys, where they'll have to move through that side of things to get themselves all the way to the grand final. A shock defeat for them, I'm sure. But both teams truly having a top tier performance. Ladies and gentlemen, as said, an immaculate game, a great series, two phenomenal teams ending in a shocking defeat for Fluxx, I'm sure. But so much congratulations to Billy's Funding for the way that they played. And they put on a hell of a show, that's for sure. So we're already behind schedule, folks. This next game was supposed to start at 10:30. That's how far behind schedule we are. So we're going to get locked in. We're going to get graphics ready on our side so we can get straight into this next game. So give us 10 to 15 minutes, folks, and we're going to be back getting this sorted. So don't go anywhere, because the next game is coming your way very, very shortly. Thank you very much for being here. We'll see you in the next one.